The March Ottawa real estate numbers are out, and I want to cut through the noise before the media starts painting a picture that doesn't tell the full story. Because when you dig into this data, there's one number that stands out, and it tells me a lot about where this market is heading as we move through spring. And if you're planning to buy or sell in Ottawa in the next couple months, pay attention because this matters. Here's what the headline says. Sales are down nearly 5% from this time last year. Active listings have climbed to 3,578 units. And if you're a condo owner in Ottawa, there's something in these numbers that you really need to sit with. And I went through every line of the Ottawa Real Estate Board March 2026 report, so you don't have to. We're going to talk about what's actually moving, what's struggling, and what one segment of the market is doing that nobody seems to be talking about. I'm Curtis Sernoskie, a realtor with Lepage Team Realty here in Ottawa, and I've been in this market for close to a decade. So let's get into it. Let's set the stage with the overall big picture, because context is everything here. Ottawa saw 1,075 home sales in March, and that's a 4% drop compared to March 2025. Now, on the surface, that sounds like bad news. But zoom out for a second, February came in at 780 sales. So March is a meaningful step forward. The spring market is waking up, even if it's not roaring yet. The year-to-date number tells a similar story. Through the end of March, 2,474 homes have traded hands, and that's down 5.7% from last year and 8.3% below 2024. We're not tracking a crisis, but we are tracking a market that's running below what Ottawa typically sees for this time of year. New listings came in at 2,452 for the month, and that's up 7.5% from last year. This means more supply keeps arriving, and active inventory has grown to 3,578 listings, a 10% jump year over year. So buyers have options, lots of them, and that's changing how decisions are made. Here's the thing, I keep coming back to the demand is there. It just isn't spread evenly across every property type. Before I tell you where it's concentrated, let me hit the price numbers, because there's a story here where the average price alone won't tell you. The average sales price in March landed at $692,584, and that's up 0.9% year over year. The median came in at $642,000, essentially flat, off just 0.5%. Those numbers look like this market is going nowhere. But the MLS HPI composite benchmark, which filters out the noise from what types of homes happen to sell, came in at 617,700 and ticked up 0.4% from February. That's the number I trust, and what it's telling me is that values aren't sliding, they're holding, and in certain pockets, they're starting to firm up. So let me walk you through each segment. We'll start with single-family detached, the heartbeat of the Ottawa market. 562 detached homes sold in March, flat compared to last year, basically zero change. The average price hit $845,000, and that's just down 0.5%. The HPI benchmark for a single family came in at $698,400, and that's up 0.8% from February. Months of inventory sits at 3, right in the balance zone where neither buyers nor sellers have a commanding advantage. New listings in this category are up, which gives buyers a lot more to look at. But the well-priced stuff isn't sitting. Median days on market was 18 days in March. Back in 2021, that number was 5. So things have clearly slowed down from the frenzy years, but 18 days is functioning. It's a healthy pace. Homes are still moving. The sale to list ratio for detached homes was 98.3%, which means that the average seller got within 2% of the asking price. This is not a market where sellers are getting beaten up by price, as long as they're priced correctly from the start. If you're a buyer in the detached space, you have more room to breathe than you've had in years. More inventory, less competition, and more time to think. But don't let the calmer pace fool you. Well-located, well-priced homes are still attracting attention quickly. And if you're a seller, the market will reward you for getting the price right from day one. It won't reward you for testing the market and adjusting later. That strategy costs you time and money in this environment. Now, here's the segment I want you to pay attention to. Townhomes. While the broader market is seeing year-over-year sales declines, townhomes are actually bucking that trend. Year to date, 840 townhomes have sold in Ottawa, up 3.6% from the same period last year. March alone saw 344 townhome sales. The average price came in at $562,513, up 0.7% from a year ago. The HPI benchmark is at $554,700. And months of inventory, just 2.8. That's the tightest reading of any property type in Ottawa right now. So why are townhomes winning? It comes down to one word: value. A buyer who can't justify $845,000 for a detached home can still land a solid 3-bedroom townhome in the $550,000 to $600,000 range. And that's where the sweet spot is. That's where the energy is. If you own a townhome and you've been on the fence about selling, this is your window. You're operating in the most competitive segment of the market, heading into the busiest time of year. So do you want to know what your townhome is worth right now? Reach out and I'll tell you. Now, let's talk about condos. I want to be straight with you here because the data is not flattering. Ottawa's condo market is dealing with a real supply problem. In fact, in March, 148 condos sold. That's down 18.2% from March of last year. Year to date, apartment sales are off 21.7% compared to 2025. And meanwhile, active condo listings sit at 808 units. You do the math, that's 5.5 months of supply. So for reference, townhomes are at 2.8, single families are at 3, condos are in a different category entirely. It's a total buyer's market. Median days on market for a condo in March was 35.5 days. And for the year, it's running at 47 days. Sellers in this category are waiting 6 to 7 weeks for a deal. That changes how you need to think about positioning. The average condo price in March came in at $401,656, down 6.1% year over year. The HBI benchmark price is a $384,700, which is off 4.4% from a year ago and 5.2% from 6 months ago. Here's the honest takeaway. If you own a condo, you want to sell, the path forward requires a real conversation about where the market actually is, not where you wish it was. There are buyers out there, but with 808 units to choose from, yours has to earn the attention on price, presentation, and marketing. There is a silver lining. Month over month, the benchmark was essentially flat. The rate of decline appears to be showing. We may be finding a floor. If you're a buyer eyeing condos, this is where the serious look. More inventory, more negotiating leverage, and prices that have come down meaningfully from the 2022 highs. A link to book a call with me is in the description if you want to talk through your specific situation. So let me zoom out now, because individual data points matter, but the bigger picture matters more. 3 things I'm watching closely coming out of this report. First, benchmark prices moved higher in most categories, and from February to March, composite single family 2-story were all up month over month. Second, the sale to list held at 98.2% across the full market. Sellers are still achieving close to asking price. The gap between expectations and reality is narrow. That's not a market in distress. And third, the overall months of inventory is 3.3. That's elevated compared to the last few years, but it's nowhere near the 6.8 months that we saw back in 2016, when the market was genuinely soft. We're in elevated territory, not danger territory. And what does this all add up to? Ottawa is working through a recalibration. The frenzy of 2021 and 2022 is gone. The overshooting correction some people predicted hasn't materialized either. We're landing somewhere in the middle, a more measured market where preparation and pricing matter more than luck. If buyer confidence builds, the conditions are back in place for a meaningful uptick in activity through April and May. The listings are there to meet it, the buyers are there, they've just been waiting for the right moment, and that moment may be arriving. So here's where things stand as we head deeper into the spring. Buyers in Ottawa right now have more inventory to choose from, more time to make decisions, and more room to negotiate than at any point since before the pandemic. Sellers who come to market with a clear-eyed view of pricing and a strong marketing plan are still getting deals done quickly. The March numbers aren't a warning sign, they're a progress report, and the direction of travel is encouraging. So if you've got a question about what any of this means for your situation, buying, selling, upgrading, or figuring out what you want to do with your condo, drop it in the comments. I'll read them all. We'll get back to you. If you want a more direct conversation, the link to connect with me is in the description. And if this video helped you understand what's actually going on in the Ottawa market right now, hit the like button. It helps this content reach more people who need it. And if you want the April numbers, the moment they're published, subscribe and you'll be the first to know.